When it comes to game day performance, nutrition plays a big part in how well you perform. One could argue that your nutritional choices leading up to a game but also during the game can literally make or break your performance. The timing of your meals, their macro and micronutrient content, the portions you consume, and a whole bunch of other details are what we're going to discuss today. So let's see how you can optimize your nutrition for performance and recovery by applying some really basic principles of nutrition. If you want to perform like an elite level footballer on game day, you certainly have to eat like one. Although performance is multifactorial, we can say that your nutrition affects all areas of your game. So ultimately, it makes sense to say that if you're seeking a successful performance, you gotta be fueling yourself properly. Let's start off with your pre-game meals. When it comes to your pre-game meals, we can say that you should prioritize your simple and complex carbohydrate intake above all. At the same time, you shall keep your protein sources lean and at a moderate to high intake. Increase your electrolyte consumption, avoid or limit your fat intake, and consume easy to digest vegetables like spinach and other sorts of leafy veg. Now, let's dig deeper into a really important principle of sports nutrition I want every single one of you to try out and notice the benefits: carb loading. The approach we usually like to adopt with our athletes when it comes to match day nutrition is carb loading. Carb loading basically is a progressive increase of your carbohydrate intake the closer you get to kickoff. In that 24 to 48 hour window, what you want to do is load your body's glycogen stores, which can happen through a combination of complex and simple carbs. The reason behind this is that glycogen, which is the byproduct of carbohydrate breakdown, is your body's primary source of energy during a high intensity game like football. The farther away you are from kickoff, the more complex carbs you can include in your diet, as there is no need for a source of fast-release carbs. However, in that 24-hour time frame before the game, you shall definitely prioritize simple carbohydrate sources such as white rice, potatoes, pasta, as they are more convenient for your body to digest and absorb, acting as a fast fueling option. As a rule of thumb, you shall consider an intake of 4 to 6 grams of simple and complex carbs per kilogram of body weight 48 hours before the game, and a 6 to 8 gram intake of primarily simple carbs during those last 24 hours before kickoff. This is equivalent to approximately 50 to 70% of your plate. Obviously, you want to avoid foods and liquids that don't make you feel and perform well. This could be anything from a high dietary fiber intake to high glycemic load foods that could really mess up your blood sugar levels leading up to kickoff. To sum it all up though, you should try and avoid dietary fiber-rich foods like complex carbohydrates and fibrous vegetables, high-fat protein sources, which are going to slow down the rate at which your body absorbs carbohydrates, high glycemic load foods such as processed sugar, spices and sauces that can cause stomach discomfort, as well as too much protein which is rich in fiber and might cause bloating. Our recommended pre-game meal is gluten-free pasta with tomato sauce and chicken breast. Football is a game with a lot of high-intensity efforts throughout the whole 90 minutes. This high-intensity and long-lasting activity can lead to a significant depletion in terms of fluids, glycogen, and minerals, aka electrolytes. This can negatively impact your performance, causing more fatigue, a drop in cognitive performance, marginal losses in sprint and change of direction speed, split-second decision-making mistakes, and much more. This is why you need to take advantage of the halftime recovery window. Your objective is to relax, calm down, and gather important information for the second half. On top of that, you need to have a nutritional strategy laid out, ready to use at halftime. So let's break down what you will need in order to get back into the second half ready to go. Your body loses lots of fluids during a game through sweat because of a homeostatic mechanism that regulates your body's temperature. Excess sweating can even lead to dehydration if the athlete isn't adequately hydrated or doesn't rehydrate. The first thing you want to plan as part of your halftime nutrition is rehydration. You should have at least 200 to 300 ml of water ready to drink. Don't go overboard with it though, as this could lead to stomach cramps and heaviness. Throwing in an electrolyte tab would be ideal. The first half of match might not completely deplete your glycogen stores, but it definitely leads to a significant reduction. Therefore, boosting up your glycogen stores can really make a difference in the second half. Just like the pre-game meal, we're looking for a quick release carbohydrate source. Simple carbs are the way to go. Fruits like bananas or apples, or energy bars and gels are great examples. Experiment with yourself and find what works the best with your system. Minerals such as sodium, magnesium, calcium, and potassium are directly linked to neuromuscular function. extensive activity can lead to depletion of minerals both through sweat and neuromuscular activity. Significant reduction in minerals can cause an electrolytic imbalance, which is one of the believed causes of muscle cramps. This is something you need to combat and deal with in order to avoid muscle cramps and prolong your performance. This can be in the form of fruits, energy or carb gels, electrolyte tabs and powders poured into your water, or isotonic drinks. Be careful though, and avoid overeating or drinking too many fluids, which can upset your stomach and lead to stitches. Protein-rich snacks are also not a priority mid-game and something you should take care of post-game. Our recommended mid-game snack is a medium banana with approximately 250 ml of an isotonic sports drink. The final whistle has been blown. An elite athlete starts preparing for the next game right away. But how? Recovery is the first step. Your post-game meals should emphasize recovery and the overall regeneration of your body. A 90-minute game can leave you with broken muscle tissue, reduced fluids and nutrients, and a mental fog and fatigue. You can combat these in 3 simple steps: rebuild, replenish, and reboot. Protein is considered the most important macronutrient when it comes to recovery, since it is the building block of muscle tissue. A meal content anywhere between 0.6 to 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight would be great after the game. Since digestion isn't a major issue now, feel free to choose any protein source you enjoy. Obviously, the less its fat content, the better. It is natural for your body to make complete use of your glycogen and mineral stores. This means that you're stepping out of the field with a limited glycogen and minerals inside your body. Your goal should be to bring those back at their normal levels. This can happen through isotonic sports drinks and the appropriate food choices. It is generally recommended to quickly consume simple carbs again, but a mix-up with complex ones would also be considered good. Healthy omega-3 fats are linked to brain health and cognitive function. Your central nervous system was working overtime today along with your muscular system to be as efficient and effective on the field as possible. Include one source of healthy fats in your meal and let it make up approximately 20% of your plate to help your brain to quote-unquote reboot. In general, there are some foods and fluids you should avoid that can slow down your recovery, like alcohol or not getting enough protein inside your system. You shall also not delay your post-game meal too much and try to start the recovery process as quickly as possible. Undereating can also become a massive issue here, leading to an increase in recovery time. Lastly, eating just before bed should also be avoided if possible, as this can interfere with the quality of your sleep. Our recommended post-game meal is a steak with a baked sweet potato and a Greek yogurt parfait with nuts, seeds, and fruit as a dessert. Hydration plays a key role in keeping all your performance indexes close to their peak. On top of that, proper hydration lubricates your joints, supports cognitive function, minimizes the risk of muscle cramps, and keeps you healthy and alive. Having said that, it makes absolute sense to keep your fluid levels high on game days, an event that leads to excess fluid loss due to sweating. As a rule of thumb, try to achieve 2/3 of your daily water intake before you step out on the field. This would roughly be around 30 to 40 ml of water per kilogram of body weight. A slight increase in your sodium intake leading up to a game would also be considered, as this will help your body retain more fluids. Sipping water throughout the whole game, as well as consuming isotonic sports drinks or gels, is also key to sustaining high fluid levels in game. In regards to post-game hydration, you can weigh yourself before and after the game and drink 800 to 1000 ml of water for every kilogram of body weight you lose. This is a method many elite teams and athletes use to properly rehydrate after a game. The use of electrolyte supplements or the consumption of hypo, iso, or hypertonic drinks is also advised. We understand that this video might be confusing to many of you guys and girls out there, but the attention to detail you should give to your nutrition on game day can really unlock your performance. This graph that you're seeing right now on the screen can give you a rough idea of what you shall focus on the most depending on what meal you're eating. As you can see, carbs are a priority before and during the game, while protein intake drastically increases after the game. Screenshot it, print it, hang it up on your fridge, and slowly start understanding these basic principles we went over today to optimize your nutrition for peak performance, but also recovery. We have a massive range of articles linked in the description below that you would absolutely love reading in regards to game day nutrition. Give them a look, and of course, have a good one.